welcome to the Monroe County Council January regular session meeting. It's 5:32 p.m. on Tuesday, January 12th, 2020, and we are called to order for our first meeting of 2021. Hooray. We're done with 2020 officially. So at this time, I'll do a roll call vote of all council members present this evening. Council members, please unmute your mics as I call the roll and indicate by voice that you are present with us for the meeting. Councilmember Deckard.
Here.
Councilmember Hawk.
Here.
Councilmember Iverson.
Here.
Councilmember McKim.
Here.
Councilmember Munson.
Here.
Councilmember Wiltz.
Here.
Mobile and the car. All
My
right.
apologies. I will be having to leave early just so that everyone knows, but Councilor Deckard has graciously agreed to for me this evening.
Great. All right, so we have a quorum present. We will now proceed with the remaining items on the agenda. And up next, as we always do with our regular session meetings, even on Zoom, is our Pledge of Allegiance. So we got our flag, all right. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag
with the United States of
America,
and to the
and to
republic
the republic
for
which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all. And so before we get to public comment, Ms. Rice, do I need to make a motion to amend the agenda for this presentation, or is this my decision?
I would go ahead and amend the agenda to have a presentation by Tina Peterson, and we have two township trustees with us, Dan Combs and Kim Alexander.
Okay, and this presentation will be to just kind of give a quick update and address the issues that we're kind of seeing currently regarding homelessness in the community. And so I would like to move that we amend the agenda to allow this presentation to take place at this time. And then we will continue on with the remaining agenda items.
Second.
And we'll need to do a roll call vote.
Councilor McKim,
Yes.
Councilor Wiltz,
Yes.
Councilor Hawk,
I don't know, why are we taking a roll call on an amendment to the agenda? Whatever, okay. Let's just move, let's go.
Councilor Iverson,
Yes.
Councilor Deckard,
Yes.
Councilor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Councilor Munson.
Yes.
And since
Motion passed unanimously.
Since the question was asked, the guidance that we received from the state, I believe well, I forget who it came from, but it was from the state, was that we need to do a roll call vote when we're doing virtual meetings for every single vote that we take. So voice votes are not allowed.
Yeah, that is correct.
Thanks for asking, Councilmember Hawk.
Yeah, that guidance came from the access counselor in the state because meetings are being held virtually now rather than in person.
It's just unusual. That's not normally the way we do it, but
I agree with you. I'd much rather do voice votes if we can, but unfortunately we can't. So we will we'll have a presentation now, and thanks to the folks who have joined us. Who would like to get started?
I'm happy to, if you'd like me to.
Sure. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here today, and I hope that you can all hear me. Either the people in my last meeting wanted a reason to get off, or they really couldn't hear me, but I did struggle a little bit with my computer, so I'll try to speak loudly. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys this evening. You know, I am speaking tonight on behalf of myself and Efrat Pfefferman from the United Way. We have been asked to continue playing a role that we've actually been playing throughout COVID-19 and really helping to convene relative relevant partners around issues impacting the social safety net is what we'd really like to say, right? So over the last month since March, we've really been working with groups of key stakeholders around issues related to shelter and housing and food insecurity and child care and mental health. And so as we extend really that work now into this more engaged conversation about homelessness and housing insecurity, I just really want to share with you what we've been asked to do by some of our key partners, including our partners at the county. And so we will begin the process of convening providers and funders and other key partners as we think about how to support long-term strategies to reduce homelessness and housing insecurity and provide effective and expedient strategies for addressing some of the acute housing issues that we're facing today, actually. The role of United Way and the Community Foundation will be to support community stakeholders in reaching a shared understanding of these challenges and a vision for moving forward to address both those acute and chronic issues. We are in the process, we'll be convening relevant stakeholders, including regional communities and partners, identifying and engaging focus area expertise as it's needed, identifying and coordinating review of promising practices that may inform some of our local strategies, aggregating and managing some financial resources around the visioning process and activating some intermediary steps, documenting the process, managing some of the data, others are collecting data as well, and communicating with participating stakeholders. It's not really anticipated that the United Way or the Community Foundation will be responsible for implementation of the solutions that are ultimately identified, but certainly we will help with enabling strategies wherever and whenever we can. We've begun the process of convening stakeholder groups and will continue to do so over the coming months in both large and small groups as it's appropriate. For example, over the last couple of weeks, we have been working with local providers to gain an understanding of where we stand relative to the Heading Home plan that was developed in 2015, and really trying to understand what we've accomplished, what we've addressed, what we've not addressed, where our gaps are, where we really are achieving some of our goals, and where we really need to ramp up our efforts. Next, we'll begin convening some larger stakeholder groups as well. And some of those talking points will be about existing resources and that continuum of resources that's needed to address homelessness and housing insecurity, what data we need to collect and what our gap analysis tells us, the regional aspects of homelessness and housing insecurity, and then identification of resources needed to develop a long-range plan. We're also working to engage a small guiding team that includes representatives from city, county, townships, the housing network, the United Way, the Community Foundation, that will meet regularly to help inform the work with these broader stakeholder groups. We are just really beginning this process. We have been working together, many of us, right, across this community to deal with some of the COVID related issues. And we're really now bridging into some of the longer term issues we also need to address relative to homelessness and housing insecurity. We are grateful for the opportunity to serve as conveners in this work and really share everybody's commitment, and are humbled by everybody's commitment to really coming together to impact these significant challenges for individuals and for our community.
Very good. Thank you. Were there any other remarks that our guests had for us this evening, Ms. Alexander?
Yes, thank you for having me this evening. It's nice to be here. I just wanted to thank you again for approving these grants that you've given to the trustees, because it really has made a difference. I don't want to bore you with a lot of numbers, but as of today, our total response has been $63,929.58 that we've been able to assist residents with that we wouldn't have, because that goes above our guidelines that we normally wouldn't assist with. So that's good. As a matter of fact, today, there was actually an eviction case. The person was going to be evicted if we didn't help out. And so we were able to avoid that. And we see that a lot. And we were able to, the trustees came together as a group, and we did radio announcements, and it's been advertised in the HT multiple times, contact numbers and names where people can find their trustees. So we've been trying to get the word out that way. And I have been engaging with local community groups, TINA and Efrat, United Way, in helping with the homelessness issue. And I am happy to be a part of the housing guiding team that Tina just spoke about. So in summary, the trustees are definitely in working on the issue of homelessness, and we hope to be able to provide some sort of positive input to the whole process. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll check with Trustee Combs of Perry Township. Dan, did you have any remarks that you wanted to? Looks like your microphone's on mute. Maybe not. Okay. Well, thank you for the information. It's great to have the regular feedback, and we certainly want to continue keeping in touch. I want to see if there are any questions from council members for our guest tonight. Anybody have any questions or comments? Mr. Iverson, go ahead.
Yeah, Ms. Peterson, thank you for being here. Same with you, Ms. Alexander. Really appreciate your time. And as you can imagine, I think all of us are hearing from our constituents about the issue of homelessness. It's really, I think, jarred a lot of people. And I know, at least anecdotally, it's been the subject of quite a few sermons on Sundays around this town. And so my question to you is, I think, very simple, is you talked about data collection information. Where can people hungry to know what the community is doing find that information? Updates, news, policy briefs, things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I don't know that I have a good answer for you right now. I mean, we're really just beginning these conversations, but I think that it's a great point and an important one. And we will, we'll identify a strategy that we can share what we're learning with our key stakeholders and with our community. But as far as I know, that does, in a collated fashion, aggregated fashion, that doesn't exist right now. Certainly there's data that many of our providers collect, but we'd like to try to paint a larger picture by really seeing if we can combine all the information. I think Kim and Dan are engaged in some data collection efforts as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council members? Okay. Well, again, thank you for being here tonight, providing the updates, and let's certainly continue to stay in touch on this very important issue. All right. So now we will move on to item 3, which is public comment. And if we have any members of the public who would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand function now. And we will allow 3 minutes per comment, 1 comment per person, and this will be for public comment for items not on the agenda. And it looks like TSD, are we ready to go? Looks
We
like
are indeed.
And I see a few people whose hands are raised, so we'll just go in the order received. And the first person I see here, his name is Trip Coverage. If all commenters could please give their full name for the record, that would be very much appreciated before they speak. And I'm ready whenever you are.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Mark Sturdivant. I've just experienced homelessness, and I want to tell my story. Your 2.5 minutes ain't going to get me nowhere. It's not. It's going to be 5 minutes. First of all, I suffer from severe bipolar disorder. When I first went to Centerstone, Bloomington, Indiana, I was given an intern to talk to for about a year. She was actually okay, but she didn't know what she was doing. My mental health went downhill. Then I had the ACT team lead as a therapist after the intern got her degree. She was absolutely awful. I seen her for just 7 months. She would no call, no show at my appointments. This caused distress in me. It really did. I was driving 60 miles round trip just to visit. And when you no call, no show, that's devastating. I would have a series of panic attacks, wondering if anybody was going to show up to my appointment. This is Centerstone I'm talking about. I would sleep in my vehicle because I had no money to get home after these no call, no shows. Once I said to her that since you no call, no show, you should give me gas money. You know, I'm a disabled vet. They don't give much money to disabled vets. I am a disabled vet. I'm not a disabled vet that became disabled in the military, but I was disabled as a vet. I know that's hard to explain. And I explained to her, she explained to me about ethics. How that's no, nothing. They was making me come in every week. I was court ordered to go to Centerstone, so therefore I had no argument in the matter. For her, hey, what is that noise?
Means 30 seconds is remaining on your time.
Okay, then I gotta fast forward. I can't explain every point. The last appointment that I had with this person, this therapist, after she made me homeless, I can't even explain. You don't give me enough time.
Ask unanimous consent to suspend the rules and allow this speaker to complete his story.
Second.
I will need another 5 minutes. The story's long. And it's Centerstone who causes problems to your constituents. And I'm explaining my story. I'm taken care of now. I am. But Centerstone actually caused my homelessness, actually caused my problems that I have because of the shitty people they hire. People who have no experience in dealing with mentally ill adults. But anyways, I'm taken care of now. It doesn't matter. There's people in the community that saw that Centerstone destroyed my life, destroyed all my property. I lost everything because of the fact I had a shitty therapist who literally who sent 6 state troopers to my house. Let me send 6 state troopers to your house. Let me see what kind of problems that causes you. I have suicidal ideations every day, all day long for the past 30 years. I have suicidal ideations because of the inexperience of the therapist. Of course, she sends 6 state troopers to my house and I become homeless. I lose all my property. I lose everything. Seriously, Centerstone needs to be run out of town. That is your problem. That is your focus. It needs to be done. They receive millions and millions of dollars in grant monies, and yet I have complete strangers who help me out now, and not Centerstone. Do you get it? Complete fucking strangers who live in fucking poverty, who are paying my hotel bill. Seriously, this is what's happening. People that's supposed to help me have destroyed my life and destroyed everything that I have. This is where it starts. And you really need to fucking run Centerstone out of town. I don't know how you do that. But Centerstone is a big, large conglomerate corporation with lawyers that you wouldn't believe. I tried to sue Centerstone with the $500 that I got. Of course, they got $50,000. They ain't gonna let me sue them. And no lawyer, no upstart lawyer is gonna fucking help me.
Mr. Sturdivant, could we do about 1 more minute on the comment and then?
Centerstone may be homeless. I didn't, but my time's done.
Yep.
And it creates a lot of emotion in me. It does.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Sturdivant.
If you guys are concerned about the homeless problem, you need to run Centerstone out of town. There's your problem right there.
Thank you for your comment. We'll go
homeless, and then they send people.
And next will be Mr. Shelton.
Good evening, Council. Jim Shelton with the Chamber. First, I want to wish you Happy New Year. And then on behalf of CASA, I want to make sure the public knows that we have a training session. Our winter session will start in just about a month, February 9th through March 3rd. It will be a virtual training again. It'll be via Zoom. It'll be Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 5:30 to 8:30. We still need a lot of people to volunteer to be CASAs to help with the children that have been abused or neglected by their parents. So I invite the public to think about that. They can go to monroecountycasa.org and click on the volunteer link and learn a bunch of details, or they can call 333-2272 and talk to the staff and get any questions that they may have that they feel they need to know before deciding if this is the volunteer opportunity for them. It's a wonderful opportunity. It's very fulfilling. It can be hard at times, but in the end, when the children are either reunited with their parents or adopted or somehow else get into a permanent situation, it's very fulfilling to have helped those children out. So thank you for the opportunity to share that information.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. And next up is Nicole Johnson. Welcome.
There it is. Okay. I was wondering when the mute button was going to appear. My name is Nicole Johnson, and I am the founder and director of Pigeon Hill Pantry, as well as a member of the Bloomington Housing Association's Residents Council. I have been working in close connection with the Bloomington Homeless Coalition regarding the seminary encampment, as well as of the other encampments, but right now seminary's got everybody's attention. There was a lot of reports that people have left seminary and that there was only a few people left. There's a couple of reasons for that. Some is there's a miscounting and or misnomer that the tents that have been moved over to 2nd Street are empty. They are not. And then another is that some individuals have moved onto county property to avoid the police and the city. And when I say police, I mean obviously Bloomington Police Department, because they don't have jurisdiction. Now, the same day that the eviction was supposed to, or that I should say, the same day that the city said that there was no longer any camping going to be allowed in the parks, the Monroe County worker went to this property where this new camp is and put up no signs. So I am here to request that that the county do opposite of what the city is doing and adhere to the CDC considerations for encampments, and allow those individuals to stay until individual housing can be found. Thank you so much, and I yield my time.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson, for your comments. And it looks like Alex is next. Alex, could you please state your name for the record?
Yep. So my name is Alex Goodlad, Goodlad is my last name. And I would just like to echo the first person's comment about just not taking down the Stride Center and reversing the moratorium, or not Stride Center, but like the encampment that the county has put a moratorium on. I can't remember the name of it again. But what I do remember is the petition that I co-authored, which I want to reiterate. That's I think that the policy that I suggested that the city should do, which I've emailed you guys about, is what you should do regarding this encampment situation. The reason being that, well, it's what the CDC says, and I think, during a pandemic, we should follow what the CDC says. So, sorry, I'm just out of it because like people are dying, and it gets really stressful at times. But to articulate, the CDC says to communicate with the people who are camped out, and unless there is shelter available, or not shelter, individual housing available. Let me clarify. Individual housing is not the same as shelter. And the city gets this mixed up all the time, and we remind them, they ignore it. And, now the city wants to tone police me and others. So we don't have individual housing for them. And even if you set the bar to shelter, we don't have that really either, because mathematically we have over 60 people camped out. And, the remaining beds available with Friends Place and Wheel Mission, it's at most 60. We have over 60 people camped out total. Moving them around, expecting that they'll go to shelter is unrealistic. And until things change, and you change it by working with the community on this and following the CDC, which gives guidelines to give them bathrooms and all that good stuff. So let's not, repeat recent history with the city. Let's and let's communicate this time. I know you're the county, not the city, but don't do the mistakes that the city makes. Thanks. I'll yield the rest of my time.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Goodlad. Next is Tina Honeycutt. Welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to take a minute to echo what Nicole Johnson is requesting. And that is, given that the city continues to move our unhoused neighbors from Seminary Park, and I've been watching the stress that it's causing folks, and we've watched that people are dying because of it. The people who've moved onto county property, I would like you all to discuss and approve allowing them to stay until something else can be worked out. Individual housing is ideal, and I know that different places are working towards that, and I was pleased to hear that you're going to continue working and getting different agencies together and learning. But in the meantime, let's leave our folks alone and give them support and services, and not remove their tents and all of their belongings and make it even harder for them to survive this winter. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms.
I yield my
Honeycutt, for
time.
your comments.
Mhm.
Have any further public comment? Looks like we have Cassidy Keeley. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Cassidy Keeley, and I also want to echo what Nicole Johnson said, that these community members who are on county property, because they were told they would be evicted from city property, to please consider allowing them to stay through the pandemic, through as long as the CDC guidelines remain as they are, to not move encampments, so that people know where they are, can get them the help and services that they need as we work out long-term solutions, have enough beds for them in safe places, places where they feel safe and healthy and comfortable. So please consider doing that. And hopefully you guys can discuss that and treat this the way that many community members are asking you to. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. And next up is RM. Could you please state your name for the record?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Renee Miller, thank you for your time this evening. And I see a lot of familiar faces there. Hello. I would like to also echo Ms. Johnson's comments and ask that you support our homeless community right now. This is not the time to be evicting anyone. People have a hard enough time socially distancing. I know that the county has been doing an impeccable job of socially distancing, and I want to applaud you for that. Thank you for doing that. And we need to continue doing that throughout our community, and that does include our homeless community members. So, and they are our community members, and they're part of our community, and we need to love them and extend a helping hand to them. And thank you. I would appreciate you not throwing them out in the cold and to walk alone in the dark, just off because you've said go. Thank you. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Ms. Miller, for your comments. And Kay Goodman is next. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank
Welcome.
you. I am voicing my opinion tonight in favor of allowing our houseless demographic to stay put until we can get something viable for them. After the quarantine, I work for a local social service agency. And after the quarantine, we started our food and our cleaning and hygiene and any kind of donations of clothes. And what I found is that they would ask if they could do anything. They were like, can I sweep the floor? I'm so grateful. I'm trying to get on my feet. And the urgency at that time was quite frankly overwhelming, trying to get everybody housed, and it was not possible. And it's still not possible. And so my question is this: where can we go to get help to get these people housed that have been homeless since the pandemic started? They're scared to go to inside places because they are scared of getting COVID, because some of them don't have insurance. And so it's like dominoes for them. And that's what I just hope everybody that's listening, and also our county council, and I know you know this, that it's like the domino effect for them. So once they lost their, I call them the houseless, once they lost their homes, everything else fell down for them. I realize this is not a problem that can be solved overnight. I would like to propose a question because I'm in research mode right now and being out in my community and trying to help. What can we do? Who has ideas on that? We can talk, we've been talking about this for months, but what can we do now? And how can social service agencies help that happen? I wanted to speak during the Bloomington Township trustee because they have really helped a lot of people. It's the one I mainly work with, you know, getting people not evicted, and I really appreciated that. But honestly, I'm not being facetious. What can we do now? And how can we help? I thank you for the time, and I'm going to be in the community still helping, and have a great day. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Goodman, for your comments. And it looks like that will conclude all of the public comment for this evening. So thanks to all of the members of the public who came to provide public comment tonight. Now that we've concluded public comment, I want to check with our county attorney, Ms. Rice. Ms. Rice, what discretion or decision-making authority does the county council have with regard to these issues?
Unfortunately, this is not directly in the realm of the council's authority. I will say, though, that the council has been generous, along with the commissioners, in providing funding to the township trustees. You've provided $200,000 to the township trustees. And let's remember that the township trustees are statutorily required to provide financial assistance to those who are dealing with issues of poverty, and that includes people who are homeless. So the county, through the commissioners and the appropriation you made, felt like the best way to address this issue was to deliver funding to the governmental agency closest to the people, which is the township trustees. And we have an interlocal agreement with them to provide this funding during COVID. The health department is working with the isolation shelter. You know, we are fortunate enough to have an isolation shelter for people who are homeless here in Monroe County. They have recently expanded beds. They're taking people with and without COVID. They are working with our health department and staff, talk to the shelters a couple of times a week at a minimum. So I know that there are additional beds at the isolation shelter for people with and without COVID, and they are working with the health department to keep those people safe. That is a high priority for us. I also know that Friends Place has added beds. You know, Tina might be able to speak more about, if she wants to hop back on, about how many beds are available, but really there is a very concentrated effort between all of the local government officials. That's the city, the county, the townships, and the service providers, Shalom and Beacon, the isolation shelter, Wheeler Mission, a lot of social service agencies, and then being coordinated by Tina Peterson at the foundation and Efrat Pfefferman at United Way. I can tell you that Monroe County has no shortage of capability, compassion, generosity. What we have lacked, unfortunately, in the past is coordination. And we are so fortunate that United Way and the Community Foundation have stepped up. They have a built-in mechanism for coordination. United Way already has agreements with many of these social service providers. So the thought is, and the people who comment here are spot on, that we need to be compassionate. We need to help this population. And all hands are on deck right now to try to coordinate and deliver the services. You know, we believe that having people, you know, with a roof over their head and a bed to sleep in is the safest place for them. And we're trying to open, I know the service providers have been in talking one-on-one with people, case managers, trying to get people housed and in a bed, and so that they're safe and they're well taken care of. And again, let me emphasize, the health department is working directly with these providers to keep people safe. We are well aware there's a pandemic and we don't want anyone to get sick who doesn't need to get sick. And so it's not unusual for Penny Caudle, our health department director, on the weekend to be checking in on people who might be in the shelter, might be positive, might be out in the community and positive and not housed. As the attorney for the health department, get those calls on the weekends. There's nobody ignoring the situation. And we are now, thank goodness, that United Way and the foundation have stepped up to lead us and coordinate us. And because of this interlocal that the commissioners and you already entered into last year, we are poised to deliver this, the services and work with people. But long answer to your direct question, you guys have no direct authority, but you have provided funding already. And we are, all hands are on deck to try to work with individuals to try to keep them safe. And, our goal is to create a situation where people don't have to camp, because they have a bed to sleep in. Right. And again, Tina mentioned, and again, Tina may want to jump in here. We're working on regional, both the acute issues, a regional, local, and a regional. And I just see Tina chopped on, so I'm going to shut up, but I'm going to let her jump in here. But thank you for the question.
Ms. Peterson?
Sure. I think Margie did a great job of really laying out what options exist today, and the fact that we're really trying to understand what's available when and where. I think the only thing I would add that she didn't mention is that we're all anxiously awaiting the opening of Kinzer Flats, where we think a significant number of folks will be able to not only have shelter, but get some of the services they need as well. But I don't have a lot more to add. I think Margie did a great job of listing what options we have today, and trying to wrap her arms around a very complicated situation.
Great, thank you. Okay, anything else? Any other questions or that we have for either Ms. Peterson or Ms. Rice before moving on? Okay. All right, well, very good. We will move on to our item number 4, which is department updates. We'll do a 5-minute update per department. Do we have any departments here? It looks like Commissioner Thomas is with us.
I am indeed. Thank you so much. On the heels of the excellent reporting, I will note that we are at the $100,000 mark for allocations to the Township Assistance Fund, but that fund is also available for any county resident. Every county resident lives in a township, so please contact your township trustee if you need assistance, but that funding is also available to help with this great programming. No solution is perfect, and but I think having a coordinated effort is so important at this point to address this issue, rather than a lot of really good, well-meaning folks spreading the resources and energy to multiple places. So I really appreciate the work of the Community Foundation and United Way in coordinating what we're doing. And kudos to Margie Rice and Commissioner Jones for working on this especially. I will also note, just as an FYI for folks, that the Stride Center is another place where people can go. It is on Morton Street between 7th and 8th at the main floor of the county's parking garage. That facility is another place where people can go in a situation where they need some safety or immediate shelter. So the other thing I will note is that we have continued with your great support to provide CARES funding for businesses, social services, and taxing units that did not receive CARES funding directly throughout our community. And this is part of that effort to make sure we have a viable and vital economy once we are post-pandemic. Imagine that. So we are at a combined grand total of $459,901.51. That's last week's total. You're going to see it creep up again this week as more applications are coming in. Any social service agency or business in the community who has a non-payroll COVID-related expense that has not been covered by another grant or loan, please go to co.monroe.in.us and apply online. It's right on the main page there. We'll see if y'all have any questions. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Any questions from council? All right, thank you for the update. Any other department updates this evening? It does not appear so. All right.
I think Mr. Iverson.
Oh, yeah.
I can either do that now or I can do that during liaison.
Go ahead.
All right, everyone, Penny Cottle asked me to give this update, and I was very happy to oblige that request because she needs some time either to take off or to focus on other things. So this comes from the Monroe County Health Department. She mentioned that over 430,000 doses of the COVID vaccine have been received by the state of Indiana. 193,000 first doses have been administered. We now know that over 23,000 people have been fully vaccinated. And as of the 11th, which is yesterday, over 490,000 appointments have been scheduled, including 88,000 individuals in the state of Indiana over the age of 80 years old. As many of you know, eligibility for the COVID-19 vaccine has expanded to individuals 80 years of age and over. And this group has an expanded coverability, Once those individuals have been vaccinated, then eligibility will open to those age 70 to 79, then so forth and so on until the population receives the vaccination. The priority here by the state of Indiana is to save lives and to reduce hospitalizations to ensure that we have adequate healthcare resources available. And just to illustrate that point a little bit, individuals aged 80 and over make up 3.8% of the Indiana population, yet those individuals make up 19% of hospitalizations and unfortunately 50% of COVID-19 deaths. So we are very interested in making sure that we're saving lives with these vaccinations. I will also note that the Monroe County Health Department vaccine clinic opened on Monday, and 70 vaccinations were given on that day. It went very well, and people were grateful for the opportunity. And as more vaccines are available, Monroe County Health Department will expand its services. If you or someone you know is eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine, please visit ourshot.in.gov. That's OURSHOT.in.gov to schedule an appointment and register. It's important that you complete the whole registration process online. However, if you do not have access to the internet or a stable connection, please call 211 and they can help you get registered. Vaccine dashboard is available on the CDC's website, and the Monroe County Health Department also has a vaccine site where you can get more information about the safety and efficacy of the COVID-19 vaccine. And I'll stop there.
All right, thank you, Councilor Iverson, for the update for the Health Department. We will now do liaison updates. Do we have any council members who have liaison reports? All right. Oh, yes, Ms. Munson, go ahead.
Very briefly, I would like everyone to know that the Monroe County Solid Waste District is undertaking a revision of the solid waste management plan for the county. And everybody can participate in this. If you have interests or concerns, please contact someone on the board of directors or the staff, and also look at the Solid Waste District website for meeting times. The public is welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Munson. Any other liaison updates? Okay, we will now move on to item 6, which is something that we have to do every year at our first meeting. And this is our county council organization, and state statute requires us to have our organizational meeting at the first meeting of the year. We have 2 elected positions on the county council, and those are the president and the president pro tempore. And so at this time, I will open the floor for nominations. We'll start with president first. Who would like to make a nomination?
I nominate Eric Spoonmore for president.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for me to continue as president in 2021. Do we have any discussion on that? Any questions? I will gladly accept and thank you. It would be an honor to continue serving as chair and president of the county council. I think we do have some really exciting and great opportunities on the horizon for 2021, and I look forward to continue serving on the leadership team. You know, we won't always agree on everything. We see that just about every meeting here, but as president, I'll always do my best to listen to both sides and facilitate the important discussions that have to take place to address the very critical issues that we're facing, as we're all continuously working to improve the quality of life in Monroe County for our residents, for our employers, and for our county employees as well. So thank you. It's a tremendous honor to serve alongside all of you in this capacity. And at this time, I guess we'll see if we take public comment on this too. Correct? Do we have any public comment? I don't see any. We'll go ahead and have a roll call vote now for Eric Spoonmore to serve as president in 2021.
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Counselor Munson,
Yes.
Counselor McKim, sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Counselor Hawk is not present. And Counselor Deckard
Yes.
and Counselor Welts.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right, and now I will open the floor to accept nominations for president pro tempore. Go ahead.
I would nominate Kate Wiltz for president pro tem.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Yes, Ms. Wiltz.
I just want to thank Councilor Munson for the confidence expressed in the nomination, and assure my fellow councilors, if you can hear me with the crazy audio here, that I'm very willing to serve for another year, and hopefully I will be able to do that in person a little bit more this year than I did last. Thanks.
All right. Any public comment on this nomination? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Counselor Munson,
Yes.
Counselor McKim,
Yes.
Counselor Deckard,
Yes.
Counselor Hawk, it's frozen.
Looks like it's
Not
Yeah,
present.
yeah, she's having problems with her internet.
Okay. Counselor Spoonmore,
yes.
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor Wiltz.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay. And the next item will be our appointments of county council liaisons and committees. The appointment of council members as department liaisons, as well as representatives on our various committees. I believe we have a motion prepared for this.
Yeah, council, I move approval of the following appointments of council members as department liaisons and committees as follows. Assessor, Hawk. Auditor, McKim. Auditor, Spoonmore. Aviation, Hawk. BDC membership, McKim. Bloomington Economic Development Corporation, McKim. Building liaison, Wiltz. Clerk, Deckard. Commissioners liaison, Spoonmore. Commissioners, Wiltz. Community Corrections Advisory Board, Iverson. Convention and Visitors Commission, Wiltz. Coroner, Iverson. Council Appointment Review Committee, Iverson. Council Appointment Review Committee, Spoonmore. Council Appointment Review Committee, Wiltz. Council Office, Spoonmore. Courts, Deckard. Courts, Iverson. Dispatch Policy Board, Munson. Downtown Bloomington Commission Board, McKim. Emergency Management Advisory Council, Munson. Emergency Management Liaison, Munson. Environmental Commission, Iverson. Executive Committee, Munson. Executive Committee, Spoonmore. Executive Committee, Wiltz. Extension Liaison, Wiltz. Food and Beverage Tax Advisory Commission, Munson. Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce, Deckard. Health Liaison, Iverson. Highway, Hawk. Highway, Wiltz. Human Resources Liaison, Wiltz. Income Tax Council PS Lit Committee, McKim. Income Tax Council PS Lit Committee, Munson. Internal Control Committee, Hawk. Jail, Deckard. Jail, Spoonmore. Legal, Wiltz. Metropolitan Planning Organization, Wiltz. Monroe County Fair Board, Munson. Monroe Fire Protection District, Hawk. Parks and Recreation, Wiltz. Personal Administration Committee, Deckard. Personal Administration Committee, Hawk. Personal Administration Committee, Spoonmore. Plan Commission, McKim. Planning, McKim. Probation, Deckard. Probation, Iverson. Prosecutor, Deckard. Prosecutor, Spoonmore. Public Defender Liaison, Deckard. Recorder, Iverson. Redevelopment Commission, McKim. Sheriff, Deckard. Sheriff, Spoonmore. Soil and Water Conservation District, Wiltz. Solid Waste Management District, Munson. Sophia Travis Grants Committee, Deckard. Sophia Travis Grants Committee, Munson. Sophia Travis Grants Committee, Wiltz. Stormwater Management, McKim. Surveyor, McKim. Technical Services, McKim. Treasurer, Hawk. Veteran Affairs, Deckard. Weights and Measures, Spoonmore. Women's Commission, Iverson. Youth Services Bureau, Munson.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion, questions, or comments on the proposed slate of liaison appointments and assignments for council members? Is there any public comment? I thank Mr. Deckard for reading that off so efficiently. Well done. All right. Seeing no public comment, we'll do a roll call vote.
On the motion to approve the 2021 County Council liaisons and committee and board appointments, excuse me. Counselor Hawk,
I didn't hear them all. I'm sorry, I'm having computer problems tonight. So I vote yes to the liaisons, and I don't know where we are on the others, so. Was it all of them or what? I'm sorry.
Just the liaisons.
Just the liaisons.
Yes, yes.
No, he read both the council board appointments as well as liaisons,
But not the citizen appointments.
but not the citizen appointment.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Counselor Deckard,
Yes.
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor McKim,
Yes.
Counselor Munson,
Yes.
Counselor Spoonmore.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay. And next is item C. This is also an important part of our county council business, and it's the appointment of citizen members to boards and commissions. And we'll have a motion on that.
Council, I move approval of the following citizen appointments to boards and commissions. Reappointments. Alcoholic Beverage Commission, Joseph Lozano, term 1 year, expires 12/31/2021. Conventions and Visitors Commission, Sean Hanlon, term 2 year, expires 12/31/2022. Conventions and Visitors Commission, Natalie Walker, term 2 year, expires 12/31/2022. Economic Development Commission, Fred Schultz, term 4 year, expires 1/1/2025. Environmental Commission, Rafael Swiatkowski, term 2 years, expires 2/1/2023. Parks and Recreation Board, Evelyn Harrell, term 4 year, expires 1/1/2025. Redevelopment Commission, Iris Kiesling, term 1 year, expires 1/1/2022. Sophia Travis Community Services Committee, Ryan Boyce, term 1 year, expires 1/1/2022. Women's Commission, Laura Danke, term 2 years, expires 1/1/2023. Women's Commission, Nichelle Whitney, term 2 years, expires 1/1/2023. New appointments, Redevelopment Commission, Christy Langley, term 1 year, expires 1/1/2022.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the motion? Yes, Ms. Shell?
I'm sorry, I want to check something real quick. I think I made a typo on the Women's Commission. So one moment, please.
And I know we have our chair here as well, if she
Yeah.
can help us.
And just one other
Does have her
thing to
hand raised.
note, we do have 2 other boards, commissions. Well, the Women's Commission, we have a vacancy that we're still working on. We plan to have that finalized at our January work session. So we are in the process of scheduling interviews and talking to those folks. And we also have 2 appointments to the Environmental Commission, working on that as well, and hope to have those nominees prepared for the work session in January as well too. So those are still forthcoming. Yeah, Michelle?
It looks like that I did make a typo. Both Miss Donkey and Whitney are both for 2 year, and it should be 1/1/2023. Is that what you read, Counselor Deckard?
That's
okay.
what I read, yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
So we're all good there?
we're good. I'm sorry. I thought they were on alternating, but these 2 are together for this year. So
Okay.
And Mr. President, I see our chair has raised her hand, maybe from the Women's Commission,
Yes.
Michelle. She might have something to add to this conversation.
Yeah, well, let me, before we get to public comment on this, I saw Councilmember Hawk's hand. Did you have a question?
Yes. Is this something that definitely has to have a yes or no vote? I mean, in the past, I've said pass on these things because I know it's up to, the majority in your committee that gets together and does this, and we've really not had a discussion about it. And so I don't feel like I'm prepared to have a vote on this. So I'm either going to vote no or pass. So whichever I'm allowed.
I would say either is an option.
Okay.
Councilmember Munson.
Thank you. I wanted to say something very different, and that is a big thank you to everybody who has applied to continue serving and to serve on county boards and commissions and committees. Thank you very much. We depend on the public to be part of county government, and we appreciate your service.
Indeed, thank you for that. And I can tell you these are it is incredible, how talented our pool of applicants to these positions are out there, and have made for some very extraordinarily difficult decisions on when we make nominations. So that's it's great that we have so much talent and so many folks interested in serving in the community, and very, very appreciative of all of those who are interested in serving county government. So thanks so much. Yes, Michelle?
I just received an email from Nichelle Whitney that Laura Donkey has resigned that position. So that needs to be withdrawn.
Okay.
Council, I would move to amend my previous motion and by simply striking Women's Commission, Laura Donkey, term 2 year expires 1/1/23 from the list of reappointments and new appointments.
Need a second? Do we have a second? Okay. So we'll need to vote on this amendment.
Okay.
Can I just ask?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. McKim.
I mean, has a letter of resignation been received by the council office?
No.
Okay, thank you.
So we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion from council members on Mr. Deckard's amendment? Any public comment? This may be an opportunity for Ms. Whitney to make a comment if she'd like.
Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful.
Welcome.
Thank you for taking time to do this evening. I was just simply going to let you know that Commissioner Danke, unfortunately, is resigning due to relocation. And so I wanted to make sure that was aware before you guys were aware of that before the vote happened. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any further public comment? Seeing none, we will have a roll call vote on the amendment.
Councilor Iverson,
Yes.
Councilor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Councilor Munson,
Yes.
Councilor Deckard,
Yes.
Councilor Hawk,
Pass.
Councilor McKim.
Yes.
Motion passed 5-0 to 1.
We'll go back to the main motion now. Any further discussion or questions on the appointments? Any comments? Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote to accept these appointment nominations and reappointments.
Councilor McKim,
Yes.
Councilor Hawk,
Pass.
Councilor Deckard,
Yes.
Councilor Munson,
Yes.
Councilor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Councilor Iverson.
Yes.
Motion passed 5-0 to 1.
All right. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 7.
Council, I move to approve resolution 2021-4, resolution to amend the 2019 agreement term date for Boys and Girls Club and Women Riding for a Change. And I can read the resolution if that works for council. All right. Resolution 2021-4, resolution to amend 2 Sophia Travis Community Service Grants. Whereas Monroe County government has for a number of years supported and encouraged the work and goals of private community social service organizations by awarding grants to the Sophia Travis Grant Fund, and whereas 2 recipients of 2019 Sophia Travis grants requested additional time in which to use the awarded funds, and whereas the Sophia Travis Grant Committee met on January 11, 2021 for the purpose of voting to amend the underlying grant agreements to provide additional time in which to use the awarded funds, and whereas the Monroe County Council, as the fiscal body and ultimate approving body, must also approve the amendments to the underlying grant agreements. Now therefore be it resolved that the Monroe County Council hereby approves amendments made and approved by the Sophia Travis Grant Committee to the 2019 Sophia Travis grants awarded to the following 2 agencies: Riding for a Change Foundation and the Boys and Girls Club. The amendments will allow the recipients additional time to use the awarded funds, specifically until December 31st, 2021, presented to the Monroe County Council of Indiana, read in full and adopted 12th day of January 2021.
Second.
Right, and I believe Councilmember Munson may have some additional background on this that she would like to share.
So I think it's helpful for the public to know that in 2019, the Sophia Travis Grants Awards went to 36 different community service organizations, and only 2 of them during this very challenging year of 2020 were not able to complete their projects as planned. And that's understandable with the Riding for a Change project involving a summer camp, and the Boys and Girls Club project involving transportation to camps and field trips. These were put on hold for the future. And we're very glad to accommodate rescheduling. And I want to welcome Councilor Trent Deckard to the Sophia Travis Grants Committee. He's going to find out that this is one of the privileges and challenges of being on the county council. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from council members on the resolution? Any public comment? All right, we'll have a roll call vote.
The motion to approve resolution 2020-04. Councilor Munson?
Yes.
Councilor Hawk?
Yes.
Councilor Iverson?
Yes.
Councilor McKim?
Yes.
Councilor Spoonmore?
Yes.
Councilor Deckard?
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right, up next is our legal department, and be a preliminary approval of a tax abatement.
Do you want me to go ahead and read the motion I've got?
Sure, go ahead.
Council, I move to approve resolution 2021-5, part 1, preliminary approval of tax abatement for Tassus. Resolution 2021-5, Part 1, preliminary approval of tax abatement for Tassus. The Monroe County Council resolves that the area shown in the attached exhibits, whose address is 1500 North Curry Pike, Bloomington, Indiana, 47404 in Monroe County, Indiana, is hereby preliminarily declared an economic revitalization area for 5 years pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1 et al. The attached statement of benefits submitted by Tassus Corporation Incorporated is now preliminarily approved. As sets forth in the attached exhibits, deductions shall be made for 10 years for personal property improvements presented to the County Council of Monroe County, Indiana, read in full and adopted on the 12th day of January 2021.
Second.
All right. And County Attorney Jeff Cockrell is joining us. Welcome, Mr. Cockrell.
Thank you. And I believe in the attendees, Amy may be the company representative. So if you have questions, she may want to chime in with them. I guess we received a tax abatement from a request from Tausis Corporation. The Economic Development Commission met earlier this year and looked at it, interviewed the business and got their information. I hope you guys all received a copy of that recording of that meeting so that you guys could review that. I think they did a very good job asking questions and getting responses. I think the short story is that this is a personal property tax abatement request, so there's no building or any kind of real estate component to it. They are going to bring a little over $900,000 worth of equipment and put it in our west side area. The process is converting, which I would defer to the company, but to me, it's making the stickers and decals that you see on a lot of the automotive parts. This is part one of it because this area has not been declared an economic revitalization area, which is a requirement in order to grant a tax abatement. And that is a two-step process. One is the preliminary determination, which we are asking you to do tonight. And then if that happens, we would do the public notice for your next meeting in February to do a kind of a final approval at that point. It did come with a unanimous recommendation from the Economic Development Commission. If you have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Great. Well, let's check and see any council comments or questions. Mr. McKim?
Yeah, Mr. Cockrell, thank you very much. I think it may not be obvious to everyone, although this is actually in the TIF district. It may not be obvious to everyone why this does not actually impact the finances of the TIF. So can you give us that explanation?
When that TIF was established, only one property captured personal property on it, and that was the GE plant. That GE plant is no longer part of that TIF, but none of the other personal property is captured by that TIF district. It's the same as if it were anywhere else in essentially the Richland Township taxing district that has the same configuration as the TIF district. So it does not capture any personal property. Personal property flows as it would have if the TIF district had never been created.
Thank you. But the commissioners still have to approve it. Is that correct?
I think they have to approve it because we are doing an economic revitalization area. And historically, and I believe this one is structured the same way, lasts for 5 years. So anytime within that 5-year period, if Tausis came back and said, hey, we want another abatement on this property, it doesn't have to go through this two-step as long as it's within that declared economic revitalization area. So we capture that 5 years. That gives the business plenty of time to get everything, all the work done and the equipment moved in, but it doesn't let them kind of keep that indefinitely, that privilege.
Thank you. I am very supportive of this. Tausis has been a tremendous community partner in the past and has really delivered on all their pledges. I would love to hear if a representative from the company is here and is willing to speak to the exact nature of the investment. I would love to hear it, but I know that the EDC has already investigated the details in a fair amount of detail.
This is Amy Ketchum, and I am the representative for Tausis. I'm a director at Tausis. My responsibility is over finance and HR. And we are excited about this opportunity for our business and for the community. We are looking to invest just shy of $1 million in equipment in a different type of manufacturing than what we do in our plant where we are doing injection molding. So this is, as Jeff mentioned, it's called converting and roll label. Converting can be, as he said, labels, warning labels that you might see inside of your vehicle, but it's also foams and different materials that might be used for noise reduction. So it allows us a competitive advantage in a little bit different space in the automotive industry. So we're very excited about it. We will be adding 8 new employees at that location as a part of the investment. And these are all skilled positions. So we'll be doing specialized training internally for those employees as well. And I appreciate your time tonight.
Thanks for joining us, Amy. Appreciate it. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Iverson?
Yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. You know, I think I really appreciate Amy's note. You know, 143 good jobs here in our community. We're adding 8. Just makes a lot of sense, especially in these pandemic times, to be adding jobs to our community. So well, that's a great idea.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from council? Do you have any public comment? Looks like Mr. Shelton is first.
Good evening again. Jim Shelton speaking on behalf of the Greater Wilmington Chamber of Commerce. We also enthusiastically endorse this, encourage you to approve it. It makes great economic sense, as you've heard, and then I agree totally with Mr. McKim. TASIS has been a great community partner for many, many years and always delivers on their commitments. So please approve this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. And Mr. Greiner, the EDC, welcome.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, council members. My name's Clark Greiner. I'm the Business Development Director for the BEDC. First, I'd like to thank Miss Amy Ketchum, the Director of Finance for TASIS Corporation, for being here and sharing the information about it. On behalf of the BEDC, I am here to support this first reading of the preliminary reading for the request of the tax abatement for TASIS. And as it's already been said, TASIS has been a fixture of Monroe County for decades. They have consistently demonstrated over time that they can create quality jobs for Monroe County citizens. Their leadership and senior management team, led by their president and CEO, Miss Melanie Walker, has been a beacon for our community and is an outstanding example of the type of organization that communities can depend on and to help Monroe County and its citizens prosper. This economic growth, the other thing I wanted to point out, it comes at a time, you know, with one of the worst pandemics and economic crisis that we've had in memory. And they're expanding. So this is a true testament to their leadership. And they're creating 8 new jobs of the 140, in addition to the 143 already there, with strong wages in Monroe County. And I think it's safe to say TASIS is a foundational building block for economic development for our community and is a critical traded sector for advanced manufacturing within Monroe County. So I am proud to be here, and I encourage the council to support this business growth with a favorable response to this first reading for the personal property tax abatement. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Greiner. All right. Looks like that concludes the public comment. And we will have a roll call vote.
Mr. President, can I make one comment first?
Yeah.
I'll just be really brief. I just want to say, of course, I'm going to vote for this. It is great to hear jobs coming here, but I really want to salute TASIS and Ms. Walker, who, when we're all out and about under normal times, non-pandemic times, we all go to a lot of not-for-profit events and other things. And you know what? You see her out there and you see there are folks out there supporting the organizations like we heard from in the beginning, of the meeting that are trying to help with these community issues, because we are literally all grappling with these things together. And whenever we deal with these abatements, I always think about those things, and I think that's wonderful to see all the work that they do. And so we're grateful. This is how we, I think, kind of reflect that today.
Thank you, Mr. Decker. All right. Anything else before we vote? All right.
On the motion to approve Resolution 2021-05, Councillor Hawk,
Yes.
Councillor Deckard,
Yes.
Councillor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Councillor Munson,
Yes.
Councillor McKim,
Yes.
Councillor Iverson.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you.
And up next is our Health Department.
Okay, Council, I move to approve the Health Department's request to amend the 2021 salary ordinance and add account 10181 to fund 1159-0000 Environmental Health Specialist temporary 35 hours Pat 3 minimum 21.29 hourly non-exempt.
Second.
All right, Ms. Shell, do you have some background for us on this?
Yeah, I'm doing this on behalf of Penny so that she can, again, have a night off. So as we were going through and making sure that we had everybody in the salary ordinance, I noticed that we had a military deployment and that she was making arrangements to get that position filled. Well, in order to track the salary separately, because the deployed employee is still entitled to receive holiday benefits, they can take vacation and that kind of thing if they so choose. So in order to track those two separately, we need to add this account to the salary ordinance so the temporary employee can be paid as well.
All right, very good. Any questions on this? Any public comment? All right, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Councillor Hawk,
Yes.
Councillor McKim,
Yes.
Councillor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Councillor Iverson,
Yes.
Councillor Munson,
Yes.
Councillor Deckard.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right, up next is item 10, Council Office.
Council, I have a motion to note here. Because approval of encumbrances by the council is required for accounting and auditing purposes, I move that all of the encumbrances listed on our agenda and the details for those encumbrances be approved summarily. I move to incorporate into the minutes all the details regarding each encumbrance. Those details were provided to and reviewed by the county council in advance. This motion is intended to allow the council to vote once to accept all the encumbrances listed in the council's packet.
All right. Motion and a second. Anybody have questions or comments on this list of encumbrances? Yes, Mr. McKim.
It's more just a comment, and I kind of said this at the beginning, but just wanted to say it on the record. Michelle sent to us just a little bit before the meeting a report on the both the encumbrance requests in summary by fund and department location, and also the reversions. And this is an extremely helpful format to have that information. I think we could really see at a glance exactly what's being encumbered and then also what's being reverted. So I appreciate that, and I think this sets a good standard for future reports. So thank you very much.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Anything further? Questions? We have any public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote.
Councillor Deckard,
Yes.
Councillor McKim,
Yes.
Councillor Munson,
Yes.
Councillor Hawk,
No.
Councillor Iverson,
Yes.
Councillor Spoonmore.
Yes.
Motion passed 5-1.
All right. So that wraps up all of our business for the evening. We'll now go to item 11, which is council comments. Do we have any council members who'd like to make comment this evening? Yes, Mr. Iverson.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick point that even though vaccines are being rolled out, and we know that both the Trump administration and the incoming Biden administration plans to release all vaccines, it is still important to please wear your mask, please wash your hands, please socially distance. Even while individuals are getting their vaccines, it is important that we protect ourselves and protect others. For all information regarding how to stay safe, please visit the Monroe County Health Department's website or follow them on Facebook or Twitter. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Any other comments from council? Yes, Mr. Deckard.
I just want to thank both the members of the leadership team, our president pro tem, for serving as leaders in this time for 2021. We've been through an incredible 2020, and their guidance and their ears for a lot of people beyond just us, I think have been huge for so many. And so when you hear quiet during those nominations, it's because we like that team and we appreciate their work. Having pinch hit for Kate just a tiny bit tonight, I'm glad she's going to do that job for at least another year. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the support. Any other comments before we wrap up? Okay. Well, we'll see you all next time. We are adjourned. Have a good evening.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks.